තෙරුවන් සරණයි සියලු දෙනාට ධර්මයේ ශක්තිය ධර්මයේ ශාන්තිය මොහොතම ලැබෙන්න. So everybody අද ටිකක් දිස් වෙනව නේද? Now today a little bit shining. Yesterday a little tough. Today end of the day, it's like you must make yourself more strict, because after 3 days, 4th day, just the minimum. It's normally something, you in a very subtle way, whatever potential you had, that can spark. So, of course, it needs more time, but at least now there's a one stage that you can get something. That's why it made 5 days minimum. Really, it's not an instant thing you can get, but if this is sort of stimulating whatever potential you had or possibility is created. So make sure you're strict, you keep alone, and no talking even rest of today and tomorrow. Okay, then don't think it's like now you finish. It's now only, it's like I told you, the baking start to happen. When it's little, it's like sometimes you have little smell, then don't open it. We know about this after practicing, that you just have to continue. Then only strictly waiting, then we don't know. You're given your full effort then. Even after doing that, okay, then you've done your best. That's most important. Buddha's time also, there were like one couple. Okay, Buddha said they passed away when they were old. So the Buddha said when they were young, if they made effort, they would have attained something. In their middle age, if they had made effort, they would have attained something. In their last stages, if they made efforts, they would have attained something. But all these 3 times they didn't do. They had the good karma, the potential, everything. So I hope that won't happen. Okay. So you have done your very best. Now even when some people come, I told you one time, this one senior monk who came to see my teacher at that time. He was in bed, and in the island, very difficult way, he managed to come there, and there were a lot of restrictions to see him. So while beside his bed, my teacher, he used to give a talk of Dhamma. I knew he was not listening to anything, but just with a lot of faith, kind of worshipping and hearing and waiting. And then what happened? Just after my teacher finished, I was like this on the side. He said, I'm very glad, Bhante, that you yourself told that you have attained the highest. My teacher is very sharp, when something goes really wrong, he will correct it. So he suddenly looked at him, it's a wonderful experience to be beside him. He just looked at me and said, no, I didn't say that. What I can say is that I have done my very best. So he made us put in the right track. So that's very important. Even to yourself, you do your best. Whatever causes that will make things happen, you do it, it will happen, even if you wish or not. This is the reasonable, sensible way to do this. Never try to, if anyone tells you, I think, put you in a kind of, I think it's not very healthy, and give some guesses that maybe when someone has attained something or something, when the Buddha is not present, even when the Buddha was alive, people misunderstood or really assumed that they have attained, and the Buddha, okay, he knew, he then actually made them attain. But we are not in that kind of presence. So we have to be a little sensible and not being spiritually stuck, then it can happen. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time today, because I think there's a new venerable too, and so you had to. How many of you have now more than half of? You want me to do this? Today I have done already. Okay, don't worry. At least do one sutra. Okay. You had to be alone, you know. I used to meet, I told you, with my teacher every other day or like that. Okay. He also told me, you know, we are alone. You also be alone in the kuti. Like that he sent me that time. That's the real thing. And later on when I had some experience with this, of course I'm very grateful to him. Because he's the one who showed the importance of this and rely on this. And he was very sincere, I would say spiritually sincere. So not binding him. So when he passed away, I actually didn't kind of miss him or sort of think that something's going to lack. But if this is lost, then it's a bit of a problem. You know, the real guide or real map will be not there. We'll hear different people's ideas, experiences. Like I also share some of my experience, but that could work. It will help somebody, but no, some encouragement or some pointer. But really, this is Buddha has told also to make him the Dhamma, your teacher, when he passes away. That is, those last advice is very, very important for us today. So, like the Salayatana Vagga, how many of you started Salayatana Vagga? Okay, how many of you couldn't start yet? No, it doesn't matter. You're just coming, doesn't matter. Who are staying for now nearly 3 days, 4 days. Anyone who has completed more than the half, you know, half from the page I have told you all to? Okay. All right. So you have like tomorrow half of the day. By that time you will have to finish. Okay. Let me just show me again that who has finished more than half. Okay. All right. Don't worry. Okay. So when you find that you are like nearly coming to the end of this thing and don't then rush, you know, tomorrow is there. So then go for some sutras where I tell you to contemplate, do that, which are interesting, which are not for the people, like in your case, you have second time, don't go with this kind of thing of rushing. You can really master that yoniso manasikara. That is how to see the Dhamma mentally and then sort of do the walking meditation, bring the mind to the present moment as well as having the Dhamma, time to time shifting to have the Dhamma picture, to analyze the Dhamma, you know, the whatever that is, the pointer that is given by the Buddha, that you have to try to exercise. Now it was very helpful for me too, because you know the one regarding yesterday that we explained day before yesterday also, because I told you I became out of touch of this practice from the time I would say I became a monk. Before monk I was really a monk, more monk I would say. because I was doing the real practice too much, and I told you all I went through a lot of rough experience. Then I inclined to samadhi, and then this thinking, analyzing slowly start to diminish. And so samadhi is good. If you get stuck with that, you can be delusion, you know, moha can increase a lot. Delusion means not in the very grosser way, but at a level of not, because we have a special faculty of wisdom. Especially even at a level of sotapanna, you have heard this statement, you know, virajang vitamalang dhamma chakkung udapadi, the eye of the Dhamma. Virajang, dispassionate, desireless, purified. Virajang vitamalang dhamma chakkung udapadi. So this eye of the Dhamma, this is the one we are trying to, you know, sort of awaken. So sensuality and all these things, you know, actually blocks this particular eye. So which is very helpful from the 5 senses. More you get released, or you can have more blissful mental state. So samadhi, then you are already very close, you know, like so that's why separately I tell to practice compassion and anapanasati bhavana to get that, to empty the mind. And then you don't try to understand, these things should just kind of trigger automatically. So if you don't understand, go to another one, like that. And then later on, the memory of it. Now yesterday for me too, it was very nice, the eye and the object. I was telling by inference how the Buddha, that precious sutta, I told you the type of thinking the Arya Sangha and the Buddha, that thinking we are getting here. That like not directly, there is, I would say, the like a very external way of looking at impermanence, and there's a way of looking at impermanence from inward. So through that one, now we can see things immediately changing, and then we can notice that. Okay, so say for example, I look now here, and then when I look here, even the few minutes ago, you can reflect how it has finished, or something you have been eating, something you have been experiencing through the senses. So that kind of impermanence is, and also the touch of the body or any sensation or anything, that's a very shallow observation of impermanence. But it's okay. It is also okay. But Buddha's way of looking at it is through a certain awakening of wisdom, a realization. Yesterday we went through that, how he first says that the eye is impermanent, what is this changing, tottering, like this. And the objects are impermanent, and so on. And then he says suddenly, eye consciousness is impermanent. Okay? So these two are necessary for eye consciousness. He gives the answer and he goes to that. Then what Buddha says is that the cause and condition for rising of eye consciousness is impermanent. So already he has told the cause and condition. What is that? Eye and the object. Okay? So then you know that this definite impermanence idea, that it will come to you, not in terms of what you observe immediately. So these are very important, very lightly when you look. Then if you have a clearer experience of in that way of analyzing, contemplation, that will be a powerful experience of impermanence. That doesn't relate to any time or anything, it will envelope every experience for the past, any expected future. It's a kind of realizing a principle. So it will apply universally to all experiences. I told a lot about verbally, how this should be, so the difference between it. So you find that with the sutras it's not very, in the society it's not, actually mostly I told you that it's all the techniques that has become very popular. That means technique means taken out from the sutras, but made easy and this thing for majority of people. But I think who have some experience with the sutta directly, it's possible for us. This has more possibility. So many techniques. I tell there are thousands of techniques here that might suit somebody, because Buddha was telling to different personalities. So if it's like you're having a bunch of keys, and then now we don't have, like we have like a bunch of keys and we have a lock. We are trying each key. So it's like this sutta, this instruction, one might open. So that's why I tell, don't try to struggle with one key sometimes. Okay? It opens little bit. Sometimes you get caught with that also. You keep that key a lot and try to practice that a lot. Do it, it's okay. But make sure you try other keys. Without effort, it will just open. And try also after some time. Like don't leave this studying again, because after few days, few years, you might see it differently. You have improved, your faculty has developed. So based on that, your maturity has come, your good karma has increased. In such a situation, you will have an entirely different experience. So you have to keep on associating the sutta, using it as a meditation pointer, as a kamattahana actually. It's a kamattahana. They were that way in the past. Unfortunately, it has now died away. If you tell me any other place doing like this, I'll be very happy, I'll be very happy. Actually, some places I do here, they're using the suttas. But then it's explanation of the sutta. Not allowing the sutta itself to make an effect. That's why I need translation from, if it's Chinese, I need a Chinese translation, because from their own language, if any other country, any other language, then because these words, the way it's written, so at least some close translation available is very helpful. So in Similes I found, I don't know, the translations are not that clear, but this one okay, I think for. I won't be here for long, so let's see. Let me see this. The Nandaka Sutta. No, I spend with you all every sitting more than 3 hours, right? Like a program. Like a program. More than a program. You also have come with dedication, so then I also have to give something more. Okay, page number 367, English one, and the Similes one. Similes one. මේ අර අන්තිම වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ නන්දෝකවාද සූත්‍ර. අන්තිම සූත්‍ර වලට තියෙන්නේ. Tomorrow I will tell the parachute jump, okay? But tomorrow also I am having a program in the evening. I try to definitely come in the morning or lunchtime like this. 407. Sorry? 407 සිංහලක. But I can see a change in you. I told you at least 5 years, 10 years, you look younger. You should be. otherwise, I don't know. It's not possible. You will not stay here. If there's some energy working, definitely you'll have to practice while doing this. I might be called by the body shop for do a program there. They have something called body shop? I don't know. Okay. 167. Easy without any cosmetics. Oh. Very cheap, free. Now on that occasion, let's see. Everybody got this. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savasti in Jetagrove, Anathapindika's park. Then Mahaprajapati Gautami, together with 500 bhikkhunis, went to the Blessed One. After paying homage to the Blessed One, she stood at one side and said to him, Venerable Sir, let the Blessed One advise the bhikkhunis. Let the Blessed One instruct the bhikkhunis. Let the Blessed One give the bhikkhunis a talk on the Dhamma. Now on that occasion, the elder bhikkhus were taking turns to advising the bhikkhunis, but the Venerable Nandaka did not want to advise them when his turn came. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ananda. Ananda, whose turn is it today to advise the bhikkhunis? Venerable Sir, it is the Venerable Nandaka's turn to advise the bhikkhunis. But he does not want to advise them even though it is his turn. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Nandaka. Advise the bhikkhunis, Nandaka. Instruct the bhikkhunis. Nandaka, give the bhikkhunis a talk on the Dhamma Brahmin. Yes, Venerable Sir. The Venerable Nandaka replied. Then in the morning, the Venerable Nandaka dressed and taking his bowl and outer robe, went into Savatthi for alms. When he had wandered for alms in Savasti and had returned from his alms round, after his meal he went with the companion to the Rajaka Park. The bhikkhunis saw the Venerable Nandaka coming in the distance and prepared a seat and set out water for the feet. The Venerable Nandaka sat down on the seat made ready and washed his feet. The bhikkhunis paid homage to him and sat down at one side. When they were seated, the Venerable Nandaka told the bhikkhunis, Sisters, this talk will be in the form of questions. When you understand, you should say, we understand. When you do not understand, you should say, we do not understand. When you are doubtful or perplexed, you should ask him, where is that other lady here? That one, she here or she has gone? Sorry? One lady. Who wears like white trousers? Yeah. Sorry? Sorry?
I can check her.
You can check in case. You know the one who sat down yesterday there in the evening. Sisters, this talk will be in the form of questions. When you understand, you you should say, we understand. When you do not understand, you should say, we do not understand. When you are doubtful or perplexed, you should ask me, how is this, Venerable Sir? What is the meaning of this? Venerable Sir, we are satisfied and pleased with the Master Nandaka in that he invites us even with this much. Sisters, what do you think? Is the I permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? When you're reading these things, it's not just like you answer, it's an observation. Now you don't answer like you think, you must think that you have never heard this question. Okay? So you have to think for yourself. Even, is the I permanent or impermanent? Like you never knew about this. Okay? So all what you have even observed up till now, whatever you had experienced in the past, it has changed. And in the future, that the same change will happen in the future. And definitely, slowly you must stop and really, until you get an actual kind of real conviction that it is going to change. It has to change. Okay, then only you answer like you are in the presence of Nandaka or the Buddha. Okay, then only you are exercising your, wisdom eye a little bit. So, is the I permanent or impermanent? When you're really trying to think like that, in the body, what will you notice? Now, when you're trying to think, I told you before, you must sit comfortably, and when you're trying to contemplate that, you will notice something in your body. Sorry? Yes. In breathing and out breathing. Because you will come to the present moment, you should be so relaxed to read this and make it a kind of a, then only that kind of, so then that special type of reflection starts to work, or contemplation can work with kayagata sati more. So it's not an intellectual kind of, it's something that you learn to. Contemplation word is very, very, it is related with yoniso manasikara. So that you have to do with the idea of letting go, relaxation of the body, and this would allow you to let go further. So that's why when you read like that, you feel more lighter. You don't feel tired going through this. That's why I said the sutras are like, if you think that, the sutras, I knew this, I know already. It's not like that. Now you're going to a realization. Knowing, realization is a different faculty. Knowing is another, just a registration, that's why we made computers, because in this modern day we are like computers. If we were wise like that, we would become monks, most of us. Right? So whatever our level, we created that. So you have to understand this. Sisters, what do you think? Is the I permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. I would never, when I saw the computers of those days in school, I felt something negative, I don't know. It's like it came from another kind of, those days there was very simple, very, very simple, I don't know. I can't remember, there was some name in the high school. What is impermanent suffering? Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this myself. No, Venerable Sir. Sisters, what do you think is the ear, the nose? So you must sweep your attention to your own ear, nose. Okay? Ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus, this is mine, this I am, this myself. No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because, Venerable Sir, we have already seen this well, as it actually is. With the proper wisdom thus, these 6 internal bases are impermanent. Good sisters. So it is with noble disciple who sees this as it actually is with proper wisdom. Sisters, what do you think? Are forms, sounds, odors, flavors, tangibles, mind objects, permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus, this is mine, this I am, this myself? No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because, Venerable Sir, we have already seen this well as it actually is with proper wisdom thus, these 6 external bases are impermanent. Good sisters. So it is with the noble disciple who sees this as it actually is with proper wisdom. Sisters, what do you think? Is eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness? Oh, what about this nun here? She knows, or is she like, or she attend Araship, or what happened? I don't think. Okay.
She knows.
Ah, right. Okay. Tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness, permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is what is impermanent suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus, this is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because, Venerable Sir, we have already seen this well as it actually is with proper wisdom thus, these 6 classes of consciousness are impermanent. Good sisters. So it is with the noble disciple who sees this as it actually is with proper wisdom. Sisters, suppose an oil lamp is burning, its oil is impermanent. It's similar to something in the last yesterday. Okay? Like from inference, you begin to, see the impermanence. Sisters, suppose an oil lamp is burning. Its oil is impermanent and subject to change. Its wick is impermanent and subject to change. Its flame is impermanent and subject to change. And its radiance is impermanent and subject to change. Now, would anyone be speaking rightly who speak thus? While this oil lamp is burning, its oil, wick and flame are impermanent and subject to change, but its radiance is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. Okay? So again, it's like, looks so obvious why Buddha is asking like that, but Buddha is trying to show the cause of what we are experiencing, okay, a feeling maybe. So it depends on an impermanent contact. So when that is impermanent, this is bound to be impermanent. Okay? So I told you yesterday, like eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, it's also a body part. It's body parts. Body is made out of these parts, okay, 6 organs. So they are actually what? The other causes of that is food. Alright? Other one is karma. So like that, whenever you are analyzing, contemplating the causes as an automatic or spontaneous result of that, only you will become aware of impermanence. Okay? So it's not like something now we have heard about impermanent, and we also notice it in a very tangible way. It's not that observation. It is more of studying or contemplating the cause and effect. And this only triggers. You find the first closest disciple to the Buddha, the second in wisdom, Sariputta, that was Upadissa or Kolita, no, Upadissa, no? Yeah, that when he was for him, what that single verse, Ye Dhamma Hetupava, any Dhamma or any phenomena that arise by cause, Ye Dhamma Hetupava, Tesang Hetu Tathagataha. Those causes, the Tathagata, the Master declares. Tesanchayo Nirodha, and their cessation. Evang Vadi Mahashramano. That was the full, the full verse. But he only heard the first line. Ye Dhamma Hetupabhava, for him to become even stream entrant, to experience Nibbana. Because he was going to be the second to Buddha in wisdom. That's the one of the other reason. It was not a big discourse or anything, it simply triggered that actual. So even the Paticcasamuppada, in one of the links, like avijja pacca sankhara, sankhara pacca vijnana, all this, that one link sometime might strike you. That's going backwards and all that. So all this is just to trigger that. So it's not what the word is there. Some people try to get the definition too much, like it's not necessary. Okay, some idea you must have of this each. That's why I told you to read the Sammaditthi Sutta also, so that you get each link, what Buddha explains, what is the meaning of avijja, and then sankhara, like that. Just to give an idea. That doesn't mean you knowing that this is what makes you realize Nibbana. No. It is actually you have to learn to contemplate the cause and effect thing. And you have to meditate separately and have patience. At least you're on the path. One day something can happen. Buddha guarantees if you practice like that, the last moment of death you will attain it. If something blocks you, next life very young. So this effort is not lost. On the way you will feel peaceful also, and venerable. I'm sorry, one day you'll be venerable. Okay, you have to before I leave. Okay, leave means leave this earth, not today, tomorrow. What about how much you have read in the Salayatana Vagga?
I read only first two sutta, but I contemplated as you mentioned. I just went over, elaborated every one of them, all the 6 senses. So I understood like internal, external sense-based and sense-based in terms of anicca, anatta, dukkha, then in 3 times, past, present, future.
Yeah.
So I just contemplated. It was very helpful just see that. And
Okay.
then second one of the daya.
Yeah.
So I was just saturated
with that. That's you're supposed to do, not the first retreat. Okay, doesn't matter. Try to just complete. Okay, like that is very helpful. Just little bit do that and then continue. Don't worry. That's the one important. But we'll see that in this first retreat. Try to Khandavagga you completed. Okay.
Yeah. And I got an inkling the first time getting the idea what is middle way now, because not going into any extreme. And what is the middle way? Not not getting like one is delight and seeing, craving and delight. Just an idea the how to operate. It's very interesting that I was trying to mindfully eat my food today.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, keeping the food on the side and
or not allowing the tongue to touch and all this, trying this. Okay.
So yes, so it was kind of yes, just kind of see that, not let the mind proliferate basically, just in the present moment. It's a mind.
That's good. That's good. You have to keep trying, and then that's okay. Only thing from this, you must try to get that kind of what the Buddha is telling, like contemplating in your mind, that part. So that's a very, very unique this thing. So when you try alone, you get your own idea of how to practice it. Okay, so that's very good. But then you must anchor yourself again to what he's saying, and the different ways of so that that this is how one day that blessings will come from him. That because it's a very unique. He's the one who can give you this particular level of vision and insight. So and that will happen. So when you're exposed to this much of suttas, that will happen. That will at least you keep the path to that. I can't guarantee it will happen. That maybe I am very confident that you're on that right path. According to my understanding. No, Venerable Sir, why is that? Because, Venerable Sir, while the oil lamp is burning, its oil, wick and flames are impermanent and subject to change. So its radiance must be impermanent and subject to change. So too, sisters, would anyone be speaking rightly who spoke thus? These 6 internal bases are impermanent and subject to change, but the pleasant, painful, or neither painful nor pleasant feeling that one experiences independent upon the 6 internal bases is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. Very similar to the Dayad Sutta. No, Venerable Sir, why is that? Because each feeling arises independent upon its corresponding condition, and with the cessation of its corresponding condition, the feeling ceases. So that's good sisters. So it is with the noble disciple who sees this as it actually is with proper wisdom. Sisters, suppose a great tree standing, possessed of hard wood. Its root is impermanent and subject to change. Its trunk is impermanent and subject to change. Its branches and foliage are impermanent and subject to change. And its shadow is impermanent and subject to change. Now, would anyone be speaking rightly who spoke thus? The root, trunk, branches and foliage of this great tree standing, possessed of hardwood, are impermanent and subject to change, but its shadow is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because, Venerable Sir, the root, trunk, branches and foliage of this great tree standing, possessed of hardwood, are impermanent and subject to change, so its shadow must be impermanent and subject to change. So too, sisters, would anyone be speaking rightly who spoke thus? These 6 external bases are impermanent and subject to change, but the pleasant, painful, or neither. So these 2 eyes, the external sense organ as well as the internal sense organ and the external stimuli. Okay, these are not in our control. Okay, basically with causes it is functioning and changing, and different causes not in our hand, and what we are going to get from outside. So these things depending on these things only we get these feelings and all these experiences, and these feelings we then identify as me, I, and so on. Okay, so you have to this is now telling in that way. So when you see like that is bound to change, then your mind will be filled with that these are all bound to vanish, disappear, and then not that you are looking now, your mind will be filled with dispassion. So this kind of clarity has levels of clarity actually. Now it should be at least this much clear, and then in your meditation it will take even to a different levels of experiences, but that you can't explain even if that happens. That's why a purity of mind is needed as a support, free from hindrances. So that's why you meditate separately and then read, and then they might trigger certain this is about our fundamental nature of our the experiences we are going through. So that's why there could be some levels, as I told you, that you get a shock because you have never seen that level of and then it will create a kind of a shock and it makes you let go. So that's why nibbindati. That word given is nibbindati, viracchati, nirodheti, nibbananti. This is just to encourage you all, but don't expect now, oh, I got a shock now here, I got a shock there, right? So that's not the way. It's like a wow experience, definitely. So, but you have to spend time, and I'm telling you, don't leave this. There's an entire world, a Buddha world that has to open up. So we must go down to him. Okay, we must not, just do something. So this will change your behavior. It should change your, sort of level of mental peace also. So too, sisters, would anyone be speaking rightly who spoke thus? These 6 external bases are impermanent and subject to change, but the pleasant, painful, or neither painful nor pleasant feeling that one experiences independent upon the 6 external bases is permanent, everlasting, eternal, and not subject to change. No, Venerable Sir, why is that? Because each feeling arises independent upon its corresponding condition, and with the cessation of its corresponding condition, the feeling ceases. So when you little familiar this, you will, like internally, you will sort of picture I and objects and all these sense organs, like with karma and this thing, it will change, it's bound to change. So whatever that you are going, not the immediate changing, not the immediate changing, but you will have a general idea of change that is going to happen in all things of the past, future. It applies to all times. Okay, it's like a general, that's why that wisdom is not that this particular thing is impermanent. It is actually, when it realized, verbalized, it is said, Yam kinchi samudaya dhamman sabbanta nirodha dhammanti. Whatever arises has to pass away. So this is a realization. It's a bit like Newton, when apple fall down, he gets a kind of so it's a kind of, that kind of, in a way, realization. Good sisters. So it is with noble disciples who sees this as it actually is with proper wisdom. Sisters, suppose a skilled butcher or his apprentice were to kill a cow and carve it up with a sharp butcher's knife, without damaging the inner mass of flesh and without damaging the outer hide. He would cut, sever and carve away the inner tendons, sinews and ligaments with the sharp butcher's knife. Then having cut, severed and carved all this away, he would remove the outer hide and cover the cow again with that same hide. Would he be speaking rightly of if he were to say, this cow is joined to this hide just as it was before? What do you think? It's taken out of the, the thing, cut, and then he puts back the thing. Do you think it is actually fixed? No, it's just, outside. No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because if that skilled butcher or his apprentice were to kill a cow and cut, sever and carve all that away, even though he covers the cow again with that same hide and say this cow is joined to this hide just as it was before, that cow would still be disjoined from that hide. Sisters, I have given this simile in order to convey a meaning. This is the meaning. The inner mass of flesh is the term for the 6 internal bases. The outer hide is a term for the 6 external bases. The inner tendons, sinews and ligaments is a term for delight and lust. The sharp butcher's knife is a term for noble wisdom. The noble wisdom that cuts, severe and carves away the inner defilements, fetters and bonds. Sisters, there are these 7 enlightened factors. So you are doing this now. Your knife is what? You are reading or contemplating. So this already, when you are having a focus and keeping yourself in the present moment, then it is the mindful enlightened factor is developed. And then when you are analyzing the Dhamma, contemplating what you are reading here, creating a mental picture of the Dhamma, then that is Dhamma Vicaya Bojjhanga, or analyzing enlightened factor is practiced. Development and cultivation of which, by realizing, sister, there are these 7 enlightened factors through the development and cultivation of which a bhikkhu, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now enters upon and abide in the deliverance of the mind and deliverance by wisdom, that are taintless with the destruction of the taints. Destruction of the taints. What are the 7? Here, sisters, a bhikkhu develops the mindful enlightened factor, which is supported by seclusion, dispassion and cessation, and ripens in relinquishment. He develops the investigation of states, that is analyzing, contemplating. Investigation of states. States means the Dhamma. Here they have written that word, enlightenment factor. The energy enlightenment factor. That means you hold that thought. When you continuously hold that thought and contemplation, that ability to hold that thinking and put effort, the energy enlightenment, the rapture, then when you're holding like that, there's that some experience of letting go. I know you all are interested in all this. I don't like to explain this. You practice, you're so interested how others get to Nibbana. Okay, it's like studying rats in a laboratory or something. This has gone on, so you like teachers or teachings, where there's a lot of this explanation. Unfortunately, I am also put into this chair like this, My teacher only told me to read this sutta, that sutta, and we were alone and we did it. So much of this knowledge, thinking how it's happening, it's a distraction actually. I can go on explaining, but doesn't matter, it's for your entertainment. But maybe I'll be misguiding you all. It's a little bit misguiding, I would say. You must don't be yogis. That's how we practice. I'm coming in midst of you also. But we were living in solitude, that's how it happens. That's why we value solitude. Because we know that some spark can happen in those kind of environment. So you have that chance now, another few hours and maybe 2 days, right? Use it. What are the 7? There are sisters, bhikkhus that develop mindful enlightenment factor, which is supported by seclusion and so on. And the energy enlightenment factor, the rapture enlightenment factor, the tranquility enlightenment factor, the concentration enlightenment factor, the equanimity enlightenment factor, which is supported by seclusion, dispassion and cessation, and ripens in relinquishment. These are the 7 enlightenment factors through the development and cultivation of which a bhikkhu, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now enters upon and abides in the deliverance of mind and deliverance by wisdom that are taintless with the destruction of the taints. When the Venerable Nandaka had advised the bhikkhunis thus, he dismissed them, saying, "Go, sisters, it is time." Then the bhikkhunis, having delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Nandaka's words, rose from their seats. And actually I want to say, you must not too much stay in that. You have to learn to now exercise the thinking. For you, my friend, like the thinking. So you must try to little bit more leave that calmness of getting calmness from analyzing, and then try to master that, get that little balance it then. Rose from their seat, and after paying homage to the Venerable Nandaka, departed, keeping him on their right. They went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, stood at one side. The Blessed One told them, "Go, sisters, it is time." Then the bhikkhunis paid homage to the Blessed One and departed, keeping him on their right. Soon after they had left, this is a very important point here. Soon after they had left, the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus. Bhikkhus, just as on the Uposatha day of the 14th, people are not doubtful or perplexed as to whether the moon is incomplete or full. Since then the moon is clearly incomplete. So too those bhikkhunis are satisfied with the Nandaka's teaching of the Dhamma, but the intentions has not yet been fulfilled. Okay. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Nandaka. "Well then, Nandaka, tomorrow too you should advise those bhikkhunis in exactly the same way." "Yes, Venerable Sir," the Venerable Nandaka replied. Then the next morning the Venerable Nandaka dressed, and then the bhikkhunis paid homage to the Blessed One and departed, keeping him on the right. Soon after they had left, the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus. "Bhikkhus, just as on the Uposatha day of the 14th, people are not doubtful or perplexed as to whether the moon is incomplete or full. Since then the moon is clearly full, so too those bhikkhunis are satisfied with the Nandaka's teaching of the Dhamma, and their intentions has been fulfilled. Because even the least advanced of those 500 bhikkhunis is a stream enterer, no longer subject to perdition or hell, bound for the deliverance, headed for enlightenment." So what happened when the same sutta was told second time? Then only they attained something. Before that, they have not a single of those bhikkhunis have attained anything. So the repetition, that was those days Buddha's time. So now we have so much repetition. I told you that time you knock, and then it might finally break. Okay. So this is, I can see why my Bhante has told us to repeat like this, that just what he told me one time was to make us familiar for that type of thinking, because we are not familiar with that type of analyzing contemplation. Sometimes we are too much analyzing unnecessarily, which is not leading to that deep wisdom. Sometimes we are not analyzing enough. So we have to get the Buddha's, what he's telling, the type of analysis. And when it's guidance, you have some experience. You're going to see, I don't know how to call it, you see the Buddha. Not in the vision or something, you lose doubt. You have like a very big saddha coming, faith coming to him. So I think I have been signaled. They told me, I told him, make sure that so that the blame will go to them. Okay. I know, don't worry. I have arranged all this, okay? It's not joke really. It's not a joke, I really told them to, because I get carried away. And sometimes my body is still not that very, and we still have, I think I have a program today, that's the reason. Tomorrow also I have in the evening, so I had to prepare, means I had to do my practice. You see, it's not just coming and giving a talk. I had to do my own, live my own silent life and then come and share it a bit, that's all. So, any questions you want to ask? I want you all to read Mahāsthipādopana Sutta, okay?
Bluetooth connected.
Mahāsthipādopana Sutta, you must, so if you have time, you can, it's a lot of analyzing, it's a good, okay, English one is 339, okay, page 339. Any question? 339 and Sinhala kada ada Mahāsthipādopana. 362. The single is one. Tunsiya Hatta Dekar. So tomorrow only my last day here. I'll be coming. Okay. I will tell the last. I told you the parachute jump tomorrow, and then it's finished. It's just one sutta, but make sure you keep silent. Okay. Do it now, because this is the time after all these days of 3 days. The 4th day is something that is like a small plateau, you know, you have like climb and then that's plateau coming. So just make sure you continue to be alone and to read and to time go refuge to the Buddha. And try to cover the amount I told you to read. Don't miss on those things. They are like based on, I told you, some experience with India, those yogis, what they told when you are reading this book. Just if you don't understand also, that there's a level of, you could say, positive energy or good karma, or that is increase in your system, okay? So that you're bound to go out with something, all right? That's the reason.
Monday is not coming?
Sorry?
Monday you are not coming?
Monday I don't need to come, you know. I don't need to come every day. This has, now I have been made to do this. You know, this is a different thing. It's like, think you're meeting a monk in the jungle. And then you meet a bit, and then that's how we did. And I don't know why I was brought to this kind of, you know, every day coming. And you know, more I come, more they want me to be. That's another problem. It's like an addiction, you know. And I got caught to this in Australia actually. They started this, and then now it's like, but I don't know. It's not necessary. Then you will remember my words, my talking, all these things. That's not good. This have to echo. This is, I told you, a magic book. It's really so. It has visions in it. If you have this kind of this thing, you will know how valuable this is. It will open up certain, you know, experience of reality in such a way that is very simple. One word, one verse will be maybe enough there. So we have to be alone and be with the Buddha. Don't worry, you try it out, okay? This you have come to that kind of influence now, so that's your karma too. So make use of it. Any last questions or last rites?
I just want to, when we talk about the impermanence, especially like in our culture, we are so used to have that word is always with us, but it's not the true word meaning of the anitya, because I think if I understand anitya truly, I'm in some, you know, I'm in a better status. So to get
You'll
out
be
of
a nun or a monk, or
exactly.
You know. It is.
So get out of that mentality that, you know, we always say this is anitya, that's anitya. I mean, when I listen to Nandaka Sutra, it's very important. Like it says, there's a lot of causes that's why it's anitya, but it's not easy to it's not clear. We are just saying that it's not clear. So could you please just, I know I'm asking like
Okay,
something to practice, like to see it.
It's already in the Nandaka Sutta also, you see, it's taking the two, the sense organ as well as the object outside, taking it as internal sense organ and the outward, okay? So these two are material and all that. So because this is itself, I just explained, the Buddha uses that, that itself is like beyond our control, it should change, it has to change. Okay, it arises from a cause, even from the initially mother's womb, for example. Okay, there also it manifests based on your past karma. Then you are nourished from the mother's body itself, those parts. Okay, that's food. All right. So these are, if you take these two out, it won't, but this exists. All right, it will die or it will not. This. So now this supporting thing is also not like one thing you do and it finishes, and another thing, supporting energy or supporting cause is coming again. Okay, so it's an impermanent cause. So therefore, this is always like a flux. It has to be, the effect has to be impermanent. So this way you have to, so this is kind of the object also same, but what is coming there, these two come based on past karma mainly. All right. So then based on these two, then you have, depending on that only you get a consciousness. We yesterday so many times, few days back, we studied how consciousness is conditioned. So it has needs an organ, it has an object, then there's the initial attention, and these three coming together, there's that consciousness arising with feeling, perception, like that. Okay? So this is all conditioned, each part is conditioned. So when it's not that you know this in detail, so when you, even one connection, it happens to click in your mind, you will get the special awareness of impermanence in a wisdom form. So that you have to, that's why I'm trying to, for that, not by explaining this, it won't happen. You have to take the book, be alone somewhere, try it out. Okay, then it might start to work. Okay, you had. It's not familiar thing we have been doing. We have been trained in different ways in school, and even the teachings also is not going that way. A lot of. Anybody else? I think I have to go now. Yeah. Yes, quickly.
Bhante, you said yesterday when you contemplate the Similes, you have to sleep to the different
yeah, because it's not exactly like that, but just to keep your attention in the physical body at the moment also, that's the reason. So that you don't lead as an information, like, so you use it to pay your form your to get your mindfulness, okay, of each organ. So that's sweeping, you can apply that. Then you get focused to the present moment also, then whatever analyzing, but it should be a mental picture. Slowly that mental picture, that is the picture, that is the wisdom I slowly being created. Because reality is not seen or heard, it's like it's thought out or reasoned out, but it's brought to intuition actually. So for that purpose you must sort of try to apply the way you understand initially. Not just without application, don't try to read it. But now when you have to cover finish it, then you'll have to rush. That's okay. But at least the real way is that one day you have more time, more good karma in this way, you can apply that way. And at home also you can try when you are relaxed in a holiday, or you can keep the books beside you and very easily try. And then if you get you can also apply to real life. If someone comes shouting at you, I told you I applied like that, or then you learn to sort of get those perceptions in your mind, and it will, main perception will be like you will see this like little far away. You won't make the experience personal. Okay, that's the real purpose. Your ignorance is reducing, therefore your reaction is reducing. Sankhara. If that doesn't happen, all this is useless. I know after the retreat who have been struggling with sensual desires, who have been doing a lot of programs and all that, they have told me, Bhante, after this, I can understand, because this is full of that wisdom, full of against greed and, desires and all that. So from the thought level, from that level, it will be, removed. More than any other samadhi or any other devotion or the ocean of wisdom here, real wisdom. Okay. Okay. නෑ නෑ ඒක කියන්නේ අපිට තේරෙන විදියට කල්පනා කරලා ඒ කියන්නේ කල්පනා කරලා අපි ඔරිජිනල් උත්තරයක් දෙන්න බලනවා එකක් ගන්න. ඒතර අපේ මනසේ පිහිටනවා. අර අපිට ගලපන එකයි අපේ තුල ඒ අවබෝධය ගන්න එකයි. ඒක ඉම්පෝටන්ට්. මගේ සිංහලත් හොඳයි නේද? මොනවා කරන්නද දැන්?
සලායතන නිසා ඇතිවන ස්පර්ශයේදී ඇතිවන වේදනාවයි පංච උපාදානස්කන්ධය ඇතිවන වේදනාවයි දෙකම එකට තමයි.
ඔව් ඒකට බලන විදි දෙකක්. සලායතන එහෙම කියලා එහෙම එනකොට වේදනාව කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. සලායතන කියන්නේ එක ඕගන් එකක් අරගෙන එහෙම බලන එකක්. හැබැයි සලායතන පාවිච්චි වෙලා තමයි අර විඥානේ පහල වෙනකොට වේදනා සංඥා එතන අර පංච උපාදානස්කන්ධේ සිද්ධ වෙන එක තියෙන්නේ.
පංච උපාදානස්කන්ධයක් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ අපේ ආයතනවල.
ඔව් මේ ආයතන පාවිච්චි වෙලානේ. ඔය එක අංගයක් අරගෙන ඊට පස්සේ බලන එකක් නෙවෙයි සලායතන වර්ගයේ තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි තැන් වල පෙන්නනවානේ මේ ස්පර්ශයෙන්ද විඥානය හොම කියලා ඒ කන්දයන්ගේ කොටස් පෙන්නනවා. කවදාකවත් ඒව එකක්වත් වෙන් වෙලා නැහැ. ඔක්කොම එකට වැඩ කරනවා. අර භාවනාවට කොටස් අරගෙන භාග්‍යතුන් වහන්සේ මේ එහෙම මේවා කරනවා. දැන් පටිච්චසමුප්පාදයත් එහෙමයි. තේරෙනවද? ඔව් ඒ කියන්නේ එතකොට ඒක එතන ඒ වෙන බලන කෝණයක් තියෙන. කෝණයක් බලන කෝණ. එකම process එකම සිදුවීමක්. එකම එන්ජින් එකක්. හරි. මේ පැවැත්වෙන සත්වෙක් කියන එකක්. ඒක අර හේතුඵල කඩලා බලන එක කරනවා විවිධ විදියට එකකින් අපිට නිවන් දකින්න පුළුවන්. එහෙමයි වෙන්නේ. ඔය කොහේ හරි කනෙක්ෂන් එකකින් අපිට ඔළුවට නැති වෙනවා මේ කියලා ආසාව නැති කරනවා. මේ ඔක්කොම පවතින ආසාවත් එක්ක. Okay.
සමාධිය ගොඩනැගුවත් සෝතාපන්න උනේ නැත්නම් අපි ඩේන්ජර් සෝන් එක නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ.
මහත්යම පස්සෙම ඉන්න ගියොත් ඩේන්ජර් සෝන් එකේ තමයි ඉන්නේ. සෙල්ලමට මහත්ය නැත්තම් මට ජෝක් එකක් කරන්න බෑනේ. එච්චර බය වෙන්න එපා. දැන් මේ කියූප් එක සෑහෙන ආරක්ෂාවක් කරයි. හොඳට කියවලා ඒක මෙනී කරාම. Sorry, I hope it's not been rude because they are like you'll have to learn Similes a bit next time. දැන් ඇති මම හිතන්නේ. ඉතින් බය වෙන්න එපා. ඔය කියවනේ ඒවා ගෙදර ගෙනියන්න කොහෙන් හරි පොතේ print එක ගන්න. Get those prints and don't worry about this thing. This will save you. Anytime when you're getting a death feeling, in the last day the parachute jump is connected with that regarding, for you to, all the purpose of this practice is some purpose for you to reduce fear of death, the real final reality. So like some things are done as a mock exam to prepare you so that your whole training, spiritual life training will be actually you will die before death comes. Then nothing to die. What has the nature of dying, you let go. මරණ දේ අපි අතරින්ද බලනවා දැන් පොඩ අවබෝධ කරගන්න. අවංකව කියනවා නම් ඒක දැන් මගේ I had experience with my father who passed away. I was really thinking how I would experience it because I also want to know. So many years I'm going here and there meditating, and when they were very old I happened to have contact with them more and even look at them. So but then I was also wondering how I would really take, so somebody asked me also, කෙනෙක් ඇහුවා මගෙන් තේරෙනවනේ මම කිව්වම ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් මොනවාද asked me that how did you tell your goodbyes to your father? And I looked back, I told him frankly, when I ordained I told my first goodbye. In the ordination process you see, I don't know, you'd have experienced that, I don't know how you experienced. I felt like when they were going to cut my hair 24 years 25 years back, that I have been taken to gallows. Really, or electric chair here, right? But I didn't know electric chair, but I only knew, I have an idea of that you're going to be taken to your death. because you know that you are going to be away from sensual pleasures, especially, and you know the whole body is actually with the sensual world, and then you know it's like a death, a big death. So then I see I kill myself when I attain samadhi more. Attaining samadhi is also quite a lot of letting go of this gross body and gross sense experiences. Okay. Then with vipassana, this analyzing contemplation is a big killing. So this way, if you have really done these things, you will feel less. You will less enjoy or go to these distracting things, or feel this thing, and then you will less feel suffering. If you have really mastered it, I think you will not feel at all. But I can see when with my father, I can tell you honestly, normally when I meet him, when I go, I don't think about him or anything. I just do something for him that time, and then I leave. I have no memory or how is he, like what I did. Those experiences were not there with me. But after this time, I had some few memories coming, like when I was a child or something, little more than, like never had this kind of way of thinking for small time, but nothing overwhelming or anything, if I tell honestly. So that's a great suffering with so much attachment and delusion. If you left our life like that, it's so much suffering. People enjoy today I was passing this park and all that, so I was thinking, they're enjoying all these parties or whatever. So I was just reminding my, the devotees who are supporting me here, that Buddha says whoever delights in feeling delights in suffering. So that's not exaggeration or something to frighten us. Because of any time we allow these pleasures, as a repercussion of that, we'll be facing a lot of sadness more than that. One forest monk also once told me, when I met him, just a few advice. He said, remember only this always. If you enjoy this much pleasure, because of that, he said, you'll have to face this much suffering. So he used his very physical, this thing, yeah. Okay. No questions? I mean, from this side? From the English side? Okay. Is the Venerable here? The Venerable in charge here?
Yes, they are, but I'm not sure, maybe they didn't hear the bell.
No, not that. I wanted to meet him. I don't know whether I get opportunity regarding one monk, who came to, one lay person who came to ordain in Sri Lanka. I think he met him in Italy.
Yes, I also met him.
You met him? Okay. So it's a very complicated, this thing I have to deal with, but so sometimes I'm a person, it was like beyond my ideas, but then I also learned not to hold to my ideas, and even some other monk also, he wanted to do certain way. So my way is not, I just want them to see, okay, let them try it out something, and then I had to tell, now you tried out your thing, now you have to do my thing. So if it works, then I would keep it secret. It's not a good example because it's good for him, all right. I have not blocked his progress. So this I am thinking myself. I hope this recorded, don't put it anywhere, right? These are private things. Okay. So I told you some part of my thinking. So these days I have faced with even ordination of different individuals, and I have seen long time how how it has worked. So I just want to really help them. I don't want to do anything. First, I don't want to have any self-interest and so on, to keep myself hopefully, and then hopefully do this support to give them advice. And I have told them also now, the ones who have already ordained, that I feel I have done the duty now. If they feel that they have something they want to get from me, then they are this thing. Otherwise, I am not any particularly wanting to. But they all went through this retreat, but he didn't. That's the thing. But I didn't. He was brought by one devotee of mine. So this was very necessary for me. Anyone who is coming, so that at least the way to Nibbana, and these practices are well established. How to do it, the type of yoniso manasikara, how to use the Dhamma. Based on this only, the other things I feel you should add. to enhance these things. But then there is also the respecting of the Sangha and the karmically how you got that, like your parents. It's not suddenly you sort of break away from, so there are a lot of things like that. Because we need a lot of support for fighting this, to go on without stagnating. So nothing we must do with like, you have to gather everything, each step what you have to be doing, you must have that wisdom to do that thing that time and gather the positive things from that. And then that based on that you can go the next step. Anywhere you have that hardness, tightness also is not good. So, but I'm sure we'll to see some what I have to do. So I think we'll have to leave. Is the Venerable there? I could meet him, or he's...
We'll get to him.
Okay, so anyone knows where Venerable is? I don't know. Because don't know tomorrow, so I'm not sure. I'm very glad he also do Tudong, right? He also go. They also walk through, especially Italy and all that.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Sure, very nice. And also the you more closer to the sutras and referring like that. Do you all do like that? I don't know.
Yes, that's our aspiration.
Oh, very good, very good.
Study and practice the early teachings of the Buddha. So
Okay.
we're very grateful also for your
Yeah, I'm very happy to support because with my teacher, sometimes when we got attached to him, he used to turn, and I never forget. Our teacher is the Dhamma Vinaya. He has stressed that, and I can see why. So that's because I know when in Thailand, I had a program in Thailand, but when they found out that I am going to based on the sutras, they didn't want me to come. So it's like they are very much with the Ajahns, I really like the forest tradition, the Tudong, but the Dhamma I am not very, tell you honestly, because not to attach to, kind of technique or advice of a certain monk. I think if the Dhamma, this thing was there, wonderful, the Tudong way, and then the Dhamma knowledge, and so that both go together.
You're also trying to practice a living tradition like.
Mine is I am also with the Himalayas, my life is sets of karma there. So, but of course, definitely the charika, walking means I see the benefit of solitude. So, whenever, I can really have that solitude, I will do that. And have not short spells, not long, so that I have some quality time, not like just stay on, never have done like that. So then charika, actually my last charika was 2012. Before that I was, from forest to forest, and then I started going to the Himalayas because I also felt that some dream in my mind to, get more samadhi power, more strength in the mind. So from young age I also went to the Himalaya, certain place. So I decided to go like Tibet, the Kailash and all that. Those places, so it like took over me from 2012. 2008 I started. It was not allowed to go to Kailash, so 2009 first trip, and then like 12, 13, 14, all these years and then Sri Lanka jungle, deep jungle, that of course I did. I had the opportunity. So my teacher also tells these things karma is there. It doesn't mean that he said, I think I had more karma in the jungle and the Himalayas. Himalayas Bhante was never like that so much. He was never like that, actually. He was in Sri Lanka. But jungle also, I think I had more. But that doesn't mean that he would tell that even animals are in the jungle. He would explain like that. When I also admired some monks, he didn't agree with that too much. He wanted us to really, there's something more to this, you should be able to stay in the Sangha also with people. Sometimes easy to have compassion to mosquitoes, but difficult to, human beings. So we have to, that vipassana has to be got where, you don't attach to anything, even samadhi and feelings. And that wisdom has to be, that's the main treasure of the Dhamma, to purify. Sachitta paryodapana etam buddha anusasana. Purifying the thoughts, purifying the mind. Not attach into, like this now. I have people also who are coming to ordain place. So I place the monastery to a trust, so that that I am still can go on my own practice. And then this is also like a platform for them, and I maybe after Vasa I want them to, I'll ask first them. Actually, I ask, do they have an idea what they like to do? So some people also, they are worried why I am allowing so much freedom for them. But I also realize they get influenced by whoever they come to talk to and meet. They are not also quite strong. So that problem is there. So I have to find a balance how I advise. Anyway, it's all if they want to know something from me. Otherwise, I'm not going to bind with anything. So that's very important, I think. So I think Thiruvan Sarnai. All blessings to all of you. May you all get all the strength always for the practice. I hope try to maintain. This will be a very special day today, tomorrow. So may be silent, be alone, and keep reading. Be with the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, especially the Buddha, the teaching. Just be in the silence. Go refuge to the Buddha time to time for a few minutes, so that you can reap the maximum in this moment. And may all this good karma be transferred to your parents, relations, and all living beings. They have been our, relations, so many beings, so many births. So from the lowest to the highest, may they get a share of this good karma. And they also get inspiration to go on this path. And not only all these beings who protect these teachings in the 4 directions, the divine deities, and the King of Gods, and also the Sahampati, Prakmati Viraja, Ishivaru, Munivaru, Siddhal, Gandharvaru, Bhairavaru, Naganagin, still crores of devatas in 33 crores, Buddha says. So all these noble beings, Samyak Dustika, Alpeshakya, Maheshakya, Samyak Dustika Devatan Mahatlata, Ping Anumodang Vitva. Nopelena, seen and unseen noble beings in this world, may they also receive and protect this pure sadhana out of compassion, who are living in this world for the sake of all other beings. With this, may they also protect this noble path out of all suffering. While the sasana is still existing, such a rare occasion, we can die any moment. I always tell, real life starts after death. So this is the time to prepare, that you will not face any suffering. While you are living, that you have confidence and connection to the great master, so that you will lose all fear. And all people in this country and this particular, the leader of this country, may they all get protection and guidance from noble forces, so that they will guide humanity in other countries too, that all of them will have less suffering in this planet and will go from happiness to happiness. And this great Ocha robe, the might of it, the Rahat Tajaya, we call it, may that blessings come to all humanity. And from the lowest to the highest, may they get a share of these merits to every being. And all the Sangha get all the strength and noble Sangha, that they will be protected to practice. So Pattetva, Dukkim Detva.